Okay, so if you're looking for the x-intercept, remember the x-intercept, you look at the x-axis, and where does it touch on the x-axis? It touches at 60. So you want to look for something with 60 and look for the label payments. Now, there are some keywords that I tell you to use with x-intercept. You can either use the word end, or you can use the word finish, or you can use the word after. Okay, so you want one of those words, 60 payments, and then the other number, remember it's an intercept, so it's going to be 0 balance. Okay, so that means it's paid off. All right. Number 2, varies directly. So when you see varies directly, you want to set a ratio. So 400 miles in 6 hours. So you're going to set up 450 over 6. So remember, miles, that's your M, hours is your 6. Now look at the other number. The other number, keep looking, is 825. And it's what? Miles. So since miles is on the top, 825 is going to go on the top. And you put X. Now once you set your two ratios, you're going to say that they're equal to each other. So remember, you're going to go to menu 3-1 and you can solve that equation. But to do that, you have to put comma X. So set up your ratio. So on my calculator page, menu 3-1, I'm going to hit Control Divide, and you've got 450 over 6, arrow over equals, and then you hit Control Divide, 825 over X, and then you remember you have to put comma X or it won't work, and hit Enter, and so you get 11. So the answer is 11 and it's hours. That's how many hours, 11 hours. Number 3, in order to identify the slope and y-intercept in a given equation, you have to solve for y. So draw your line, I need y all by itself, so bring down the 8. And then I have to bring 5x to the other side, so opposite of positive 5x is a minus 5x. And then I still have to divide by what's in front of the y, which is a negative 4. So divide both of those by negative 4. Now when you put in your calculator, always enter from the top. So that is going to be 8 divided by negative 4. And so you get negative 2, right? So you have negative 2. And then on the other one, make sure that you say negative 5 divided by negative 4. So negative 5 divided by negative 4. And you get positive 5 over 4. So plus 5 over 4. And then bring down your x. Make sure you bring down the x. Now, you've got slope and y-intercept. Slope is always the one that's beside x. So beside x, I have positive 5/4. So positive 5 over 4. Y-intercept is the one that does not have a number. So that's or does not have a variable, I'm sorry, negative 2. Which is the graph? So when it says which is the graph, you're actually going to graph it. Now make sure that you plug it in carefully on your graph. So Control Doc, go to Graphs, and then you can make your fraction 1 over 2x, and then arrow over, put your x, and it says minus 1. Now when you get that graph, if you want to make a grid on that, to do a grid, you would do menu, and then you would say 2, 6, 2. And that will give you a grid so you can see the dots. But then after that, I want you to do menu 5-1. Remember, menu 5-1 helps you identify the intercepts. And so that's what we can use to really identify which graph it is. Okay? But the ones who need that, so menu 2, and then 6, and then 2, it kind of helps you see the dots a little better, see the layout. Then menu 5-1. So my first one on the y-axis is negative 1. So see the negative 1, the line's not there, so it doesn't match. Negative 1, that's good. Negative 1, yes. Negative 1, nope, the line's not there. And then you can arrow over to the x-axis. The x-axis is at 2. So 2, that's a match. 2, that is not. So my answer is B. You definitely want to check to see which one matches. On number 5, you want to simplify. So remember, when there's a number in front of the variable, you're going to multiply. 1 times 4 is 4x. 1 times a negative 5 is a negative 5. And then on this one, you actually have a negative 1 parentheses 6. So if you forgot, I'm doing, and you can do control the doc calculator, negative 1 parentheses 6, enter. That's negative 6. So negative 6x, and then negative 1 times 7 is negative 7. Now put together your like terms. So 4x minus 6x. So on your calculator, 4 minus 6, and you get negative 2. So negative 2x. And then you're going to say negative 5 minus 7. So negative 5 minus 7. And you get negative 12. So minus 12. And I can't go any further because negative 2 has an x and negative 12 does not. On number 6, automatically I see sequence. And anytime you see a sequence, you're going to set the t-chart. Now, the sequence, these numbers are going to go in the y column. So negative 2, 3, 8, and 13. Now, notice it says the first 4 terms. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. First 4 terms. And then all you're going to do is you're going to graph, and you're going to look at your table, Control T, and you're going to see which one matches. But instead of an N, make sure you use an X. Okay, so I'm going to graph these and see if they match. So Control Doc, go to Graphs. The first equation is negative 2x. Hit Enter, hit Control T, and notice it's negative 2, negative 4. That does not match, so that's gone. Control Doc, 2, and then you have negative 4x plus 2. Enter, hit your table, Control T. And again, I have negative 2, negative 6. That does not match. So C, Control Doc, go to 2, and you have 3x minus 5. Enter, and then you hit Control T. That's negative 2, and then 1. That does not match. So it has to be 5x minus 7, but we want to make sure, Control Doc, 2. So 5x minus 7, enter, and then hit Control T, and you have your sequence right there. So that is your answer. So the answer is D. On number 7, you have a table, and it says, which of the following functions describes a relation? Anytime you are given equations and you have a table, you're just going to graph. So you're going to graph and then go to Control T. Now, some students get really confused when the table is horizontal, so I would write it vertically. Remember that the top number always goes in the first column. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is negative 2, 3, 8, 13. See, negative 1 goes with negative 2, positive 1 goes with negative 2, 2 goes with 3, 3 goes with 8, and 4 goes with 13. Now you can check and see which one it is. And so you just graph these, okay? So Control Doc, go to 2, and then you have x minus 7, and you hit your table, Control T, and the first one should be negative 2. That does not match. The second one is 5x, so Control Doc, go to 2, and 5x, enter, and Control T, that's 5, 10, 15. That does not match. And then 7x minus 5, so 7x minus 5, Control T, that does not match. And then you've got 5x minus 7. And then Control T. So you've got 1 goes with negative 2, 2 goes with 3, 3 goes with 8, 4 goes with 13. And so that is definitely a match. So your answer is J. Now, number 8, you have an equation right here. So anytime you have an equation, you probably want to rewrite it, because anytime you're given an equation or problem, you are going to use it. Okay, now the question says, I want to know what the 0 is. Remember, the 0 is the x-intercept. Now, there's two ways you can find the x-intercept. You can graph it, and if you can graph it, I would try doing that first. So I'm just going to try it, Control Doc, go to Graphs. So it was negative 0.00177 x plus 212. Enter. And then you can do the menu 5-1. But look how weird that is. I mean, like, that is going to take you, it's not really looking like it's moving very far. And so some of you, it's because it's so little, the 0.002, it's so minuscule, you can't really see it. Now, you can do that, and you can hold it, and you can keep going, and that would take a long time. But you could do that until you got to the yellow box that says 0. Or, so this is another option. Remember, since it's the x-intercept, you can put you want to keep the x where it is, so I'm going to keep this x, I'm going to put a 0 in for the y, so 0 equals negative 0.00177x plus 212, and then I'm going to go solve it, so I'm going to go to menu 3-1. Now, you can graph it, sometimes the graphing works, and you could keep holding it and going to the right, and that's fine. Or you can go to a calculator page, and then I'm going to hit menu 3-1, and I'm going to enter this equation in. Remember, instead of y, I'm putting 0 equals, and then negative 0.00177x plus 212, comma, x, enter. And you get 119,774, which is B. Okay, so two ways you can do it. Either way is fine. Last one, number 9. You are given an x-intercept of negative 3 and a y-intercept of 6, and I want to find the slope. Now remember, anytime you want slope or rate of change, you set up a t-chart. Okay, so negative 3 goes in the x spot. Intercept is 0, so that means negative 3, 0. 6 goes in the y spot. Remember, this is x and y, so 6 goes in the y spot, intercept is 0. So you have two different points. After that, you are going to subtract. So start from the bottom. So you have 0 minus negative 3, which is equal to 3. And then you have 6 minus 0, which is 6. And then swing and divide. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. So my slope is 2. Now I'm going to show you why this is true. Negative 3, 0. Negative 3 on the x. So negative 3, 1, 2, 3 on the x. And then I have 6 on the y. Okay. There's my graph. Okay. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. So it is indeed true. And that is the slope for that when you're given an x-intercept of negative 3 and a y-intercept of 6.